right, well, today I'm going to share with you a inspection related item that came up on one of our listings recently. And I'm, of course, going to keep the client and the address confidential. But other than that, I'm going to show you what this looks like. This is part of an inspection request that came from a buyer broker who their buyer, of course, did a home inspection on one of our listings and wanted to point this out as something that we see on a fairly regular basis. And I'll just share my screen with you here so I can show you this, and so you can get a sense of how this goes. So, this is the inspection report snippet that we received from the buyer broker, and it reads: the northwest support beam blocks are loose in various areas below the main crawl space. This allows the floor/structure to settle. The downed insulation and low clearance prevents complete inspection of all blocks. Recommend a licensed contractor evaluate and repair, correct as needed. So, this is something, crawl space work is interesting because not very many homeowners, climb under their home very often. And so crawl space can be a place that can be neglected over the course of time, just naturally. And then over the course of time, of course, the things happen. Oftentimes there's rodents that get in there if all the entryways aren't sealed really well. And then rodents love to nest and pull insulation down. Or just naturally over time, insulation can fall. And so in this picture, you're seeing a couple of things happening. The crawl space area really needs a lot of work. There is down insulation. And in addition to that, over the course of time, this house was built in and around the 1940s. And I'm sure it's gone through a few earthquakes and things of that nature. And you can see that the piers have been disturbed here. And they definitely need some work as far as supporting the flooring so that there isn't any further settling going on, all that. So where possible as a seller, it's a great idea to take a look into your crawl space. Obviously, having a pre-inspection can really be helpful in identifying some of these things if you're inclined to do that as a seller. But even then, even if you don't go that far, you can often put on some appropriate clothing and at least open the hatch and climb down there and just shine a flashlight around and just see what you can see. Oftentimes we see fallen insulation. Oftentimes we see fallen furnace ducting. That's another thing that we see from time to time. There should be a black visqueen barrier down on the ground. That is a vapor barrier that's supposed to have coverage covering all the dirt between basically a vapor barrier between the dirt and the underneath of your home, and that should be intact. And sometimes, when you have contractors, plumbers, electricians, whatever, that go in and do work over the course of time, they may disturb that visqueen barrier, and it may need to be redistributed so that it covers all the dirt underneath the home. Crawl spaces are a place that is often ignored, and crawl spaces are places where inspectors, of course, go and to make sure that these homes are sound before a buyer completes a purchase. So it's just good practice to shine a flashlight down there and just take a look, see what's going on. Usually this stuff is very much out in the open because crawl spaces are just that. They're open spaces. Sometimes there's not a lot of room down there per se, but there's not a lot that's obstructing. So you can usually be able to see pretty quickly if you've got something going on or not. So anyways, I thought that this would be helpful just to give you a sense of what this looks like on a day-to-day. And if you have any real estate related questions as you prepare your home for the market, or of course, if you're a buyer looking into these things as you prepare to have a home inspected, obviously feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Cell phone is 206-949-3793. We'll talk to you soon.